Hello and welcome back to Real Tax Talks. This is Michael Coronado, and I have Sheila Jani with me. She is a managing partner for Capital Value Funds. Sheila, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, nice to be here. Yeah, chatting with you.
Awesome. I appreciate your time. Love for our listeners to learn a little bit more about you because you're saying you've been in real estate lending, fix and flip. So love to hear a little bit about you and your background and kind of what got you into real estate investing.
Okay, so my background is in pharmacy. I'm a pharmacist by profession. I did my bachelor's in pharmacy years ago and master's in pharmacology. I actually was teaching in a medical school for a while, teaching pharmacology to the students there. And then I was born in India but grew up in various countries in different parts of the world. So when was in Malaysia, was in Sierra Leone in West Africa, was in Nigeria, was in Uruguay for a while, and then I went back to India to do my college there. Finished my college. I did pharmacy there, and then I moved to the U.S. And there I had to go to a few tests to get the qualifications or to show that I do have the qualifications of the pharmacist in the US, and then started working as a pharmacist. So I did that for a while.
Amazing.
Yes, the first place I got it first, I was in Philadelphia, moved to Kingman, Arizona. I was there for about 6 years. That's where I started my pharmacist job. And then for 2 years, I lived in Reno, Nevada. I moved to Reno, Nevada. Was a pharmacist there too. Did retail, did hospital, did home care, all kinds of pharmacy, different spaces in the pharmacy world. And then we moved to Pennsylvania because my husband got a job in Philadelphia area, so we moved to the Philadelphia area, and have been in the Philadelphia area ever since. And since we moved to this area, so in Reno, Nevada, I bought my first rental property in 2002. I saved up enough money that I had a down payment to buy my first rental property, and I still have that property today. So I've never seen the property since I left from there in 2002. Never gone back to see that property. Yes, but I've
Wow.
yes, I went through many different. I mean, there were times it's hard. It doesn't always start good. I mean, there were good times and there were hard times. Somewhere in the mid 2000s, early 2000s actually, my property, so I gave it to property management to take over. The property management, the guy was retiring, so I was trying to find a new property manager. At that time, I only knew Craigslist, so I went to Craigslist and found a property manager there, and he said he would manage my property, and never heard from him. And then I had to find another property manager who went there and found the door was left open. The house was just left open with no lock and secure. And he took over, and he's been my property manager ever since. And it's just been money in my bank account every month. Never had to ever worry about it for the last over 25 years. He's been managing my property. Yeah. And never had to go back.
Wow.
They're awesome, yes, to work with. So
That
that was my first property that I bought. And then in the Philadelphia area, I had no mentors, no one to help me find. I had no guidance basically as to where to find properties, how to find properties. I always knew that that's one thing that you could invest in, not have to worry about working every day. So I've always wanted to own rental properties. So we lived in an area. I worked in Wilmington, Delaware, as a pharmacist, hospital pharmacist there. I worked for larger hospital there, Christiana Care, and I one of my coworkers were buying homes in the city of Wilmington. So I thought, okay, that might be a good place for me to buy. So I bought a few properties there. And I bought one in Newark, Delaware, near the university, but the others were all in the city of Wilmington. Had that for 4 or 5 years, lots of work, lots of trouble with it. And then we moved to an area called Berks County in Pennsylvania. From that area, we were in Delaware County in Pennsylvania, then we moved to Berks County in Pennsylvania. and realized I think what I was doing wrong was that I was buying properties in the wrong location. I was buying in war zones. So I decided I'm going to start buying properties very close to where I live. And from 20, I think once we moved here, 2014 onwards, 2012, I bought one property. And then 2014, I started buying properties very close, maybe within a mile or two of where I live. And kept buying rental properties one after the other until 20. I think the last property I bought, and then I bought in Lancaster, PA too. And most of Lancaster County is really good location-wise. Good school districts, good locations. So started buying properties there. In 2018, I think I bought was the last rental property I bought. And then I started buying short-term rentals. So I bought a vacation rental in Ocean City, Maryland, one in Destin, Florida, and one in the Poconos. The last one was 2022. And 2017, I started attending a meetup. And that's where I met people. And the lady that was running the who was running the meetup introduced me to private money lending. And she had her students. So her first lending that I did was with one of her students. And she JV'd with her student because her student didn't have enough credentials to be able to borrow money. So she JV'd. And so that was my first lending that I did in 2017. And then she started introducing me to more of her students, did more lending that way. And then, from their word of mouth or Facebook here and there, I started getting borrowers, and I've been doing that lending. So I have my rental properties, I have my short-term rentals, and I have my lending that I do, basically, So those three spaces.
But it sounds like you slowed down in that last part, right? In the acquiring rental properties.
Yes, I did,
that's something
because
you're not doing
it was
as much of.
not anymore because the numbers don't make sense anymore. So, and also I think I've reached the point where I've reached financial freedom. So what I've been doing is we've been paying off our properties. So it's all basically income coming in. And I have a great handyman, and these properties are in areas where I sold the ones that I bought in Wilmington, Delaware, and I just have these now. I got rid of the bad ones at loss, of course, but it didn't matter. I think I'd made the right decision. So now I have tenants that are very easy. The rent just comes in, the cash flow just comes in. Most of my properties are paid off completely. So I think I have 2 left that needs to be paid off, but other than that, so basically we've reached financial freedom at this point. So that's where.
That's amazing. And it took 20-ish years, right, to get there. But that's amazing.
And 20 years, you can say.
I
20
wonder,
years, yes. 20 years, yes. 2002 was when I bought my first property, and I still have that one. Yeah.
And before we started, I told you we're gonna find something that was gonna hit on my theme of the day, and my theme of the day was about sunk costs. And we hit you land sunk costs, right? Because that fallacy of I put this money in and I've got to keep going at it because I already put this money in, but you had this foresight to say I'm doing this wrong. This is not worth doing. I know I put money into it. I know I'm going to lose money by getting out of it, but it is the best thing. It's a pain short term, right, to do that. But this is the best thing for me in long term, right? Strategy of I've got to just recover from this and kind of get away from these.
Yes, I sold 3 houses.
So we did.
3 houses at losses. Yes, I did that, but it was a very good decision. It was a really good decision to do that. Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah, you can't just keep putting good money after bad money if things aren't working.
Yeah. Right now I do have my 2 properties that I have mortgages on, and I feel they're a burden. So I feel sometimes the mortgage, but again I bought them in 2022. So I right now have good mortgage rates on them. Good rates on them right now, but it's going up because I've got a commercial loan, and it's really worrying me right now that, I have these two properties that I have mortgages on, and the rates are going to go up. So I don't know what I'll do at this point. So those two properties are really giving me a lot of headaches. So I like the fact that I think one of the good things people should do is basically pay off their mortgages if they can, as they can do it, because that really gives you a lot of money coming back to you, right? If you pay that off, yeah. We did that for one property. I took money out of my retirement account when I could and paid off a house, because all that interest you were paying the bank, you don't have to pay that anymore. I'll pay taxes to the government, but that's a one-time thing. I'm done. This is years of paying interest, right? That I'm saving. So I didn't mind paying the taxes because it helped me in the long run. First of all, I'm getting more cash flow because of the rent coming in. Plus, I'm not paying interest anymore. So I feel in my lessons that, if you can pay off your mortgage, do that as fast as if you can. But rather than buying too many properties, I feel. Yeah.
That's interesting. So you look at that, the payoff. Yeah, I mean, I think for a long term, that's definitely a good place. So do you not see the idea of using debt to take out, I guess, some of the appreciation in order to maybe acquire a new property?
No, no.
Has that
Never
not
done
been your
that.
strategy?
No,
Yeah.
because then you have debt there and you have debt here, right? This property too, you have debt, plus the one you took is debt too, right? Yeah, it's also
Yeah,
debt, so you're paying
potentially
debt.
on the value.
You're paying interest on all that, right? That's how I feel. Yeah, yeah. It's interest. I feel is wasted money in a way. Yeah, taking borrowing to buy a house. Yes, that's a good thing to do. Yes, when you start out. Yes, but try to pay off your loans as fast as possible if you can. Try to pay it off. I feel that has worked out very well as far as your income coming in at that point, right? You're not paying interest anymore. And interest, I feel, is wasted money. Yes, you need that to buy a house, right? And you do have your tenants paying it off, but this way you're getting a lot more money back, and you're not paying the interest that's wasted money. It's money really that's,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's really not serving a purpose for you, really. Except that you bought the house, which is good. You need it, but when you can, don't throw that money away if you don't have to, kind of thing. It's definitely needed because it's a large sum of money. You do need mortgages. I agree with that. Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and you do, I mean, and at the end of the day, you do actually offer mortgages, right? Because you do private money lending. But
I
those are
do,
shorter
yes,
term.
but the shorter ones are a different way people do that, right? It's basically you buy the houses really, really cheap, and you put money into it. You either sell it or you refi it, but they're not putting a lot of your money in. Yes, I agree with that too. People do that too. When you don't have a lot of money, yes, I said if you have the money, you pay it off. But yeah, that's a different strategy. Yeah, there you're really increasing the value a lot, right? Most of my houses, I didn't. I think there's only one that I bought off the market. Most of my houses I just bought on market, and it's just time that did the work for me. I mean, I didn't spend tons of money in ads and those kind of things. I wasn't doing flipping. I have done 3 flippings in my lifetime. 2 of them went well, and 1 didn't. But it's a lot of work, and it's not one I did not enjoy it. I wanted to do it just to get the experience, and it was not one. The one that I lost money on was not a good experience for me. Yes, those houses that I bought in the wrong location, that wasn't a good experience. Yes, I agree with that. But this is worse. It's a contractor just ripping us off. I lost about $65,000. The contractor that ripped us off. Yes, I had someone who is a friend. This was a house in Philadelphia we were flipping, and he was going there every day checking on the contractor, but he kind of I've got to do this, so I need the money earlier, I have to put in insulation, I need, I'll be done in 3 days. So he got a lot of money from us that way. It was a big learning experience. If I can, I avoid contractors in real estate as much as possible. I don't want to deal with them at all. Yes, they've been one of my most negative things that I don't enjoy is contractors. Many of them that I've come across, maybe 90% of them, are out there to scam you. my experience. I mean, if there are good ones, I've had a few good ones that I've worked with too. Yes, a few, very few, but most of them, yeah. So that's my experience. Yeah, that
I think it's interesting because they got a lot of bad rap, and I think part of it is either they don't have the knowledge, or they don't have the right partners, right? They don't have the right accountants or financial managers with them, kind of guiding them on how to do cash flow, because lots of times they're taking your money to finish the previous project.
exactly.
Right,
Yes,
when you're
yes,
giving them money, they're
yes,
finishing the previous project, and I
yes,
think that's one of
yes,
the challenges, right?
yes. And
Is
your work is
how do
getting
you know
delayed
that
here.
going in?
Yeah, and your work is getting delayed here. They never finish in the time they'll say they'll finish. It never, never happens. Yes. So
Right?
it's just the way. But right now I'm dealing with one who's got a lien on my house. He had a very nice game that he played. he he told me he has a loan company that he can connect me with. I thought okay, and he told me he'll get paid at the end. So I said fine. So this is a loan. I can apply for a loan and he gets paid at the end. That's great. So he'll get the work done. Most of them, what do? They do a little bit of work and then leave, or delay your whole project. That's what they do. So I thought, okay, this way he'll get the work done. I applied for the loan, got the loan, and thought he was doing the work. I get a bill from the lender saying I owe this much money. I go to him. How did that happen? He took money out of my loan account without my knowledge. So he had some kind of connection with his lender, and so he stopped doing work. So I locked him out of the house and got another contractor that I worked with every week. I was going from home to the Poconos to check on the work every week and then paid until that work got finished. I did that. And then he goes and puts a lien on my house. So I'm fighting that right now. The other contract, not the second contractor, the first contractor. He takes off the money from my loan account without my knowledge and then goes and puts a lien on the house that I'm fighting over. So it's just been a lot of bad experiences with contractors. So, yeah.
There's a, there's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of relationships. There's a lot of trust, and yeah, if you don't have the right partners to complete the work, I
Yes.
think I like using when I've been through things like that. I use the bank attitude. So when you go to do a draw from the bank, I do the same thing. Show me percentage completion. What did you complete? How much have you completed? Let me see that it's done. Okay, now you're getting paid. I'm going to
Yeah.
inspect what you're saying was completed.
That's what I did then
Outside of the initial money. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I did every week. I was going there to check the work. That's the only way I got it. That was the only way that it worked. Where I went there, checked the work, and got it done. Yeah, but most of them want money up front. That's another thing. A lot of them want some money up front. And they'll do a little bit of work and then they start delaying it. Yeah, so it's a game to play, I think.
Well, because again, that money goes back to pay to complete the previous job that they ran out of money to then. Yeah, and then they need their next job before they can complete yours. That's the
Yes, yes, yes,
that's
yes,
unfortunate, and it's a pattern that's been seen. And sometimes it's interesting because sometimes even reputable folks get caught up in that, because I think one thing that I think is really important is cash flow, and you kind of alluded to that with your rental properties. Being able to say you've paid off the rent, you've paid off the mortgage, and you're getting more money in your pocket. And
yes,
cash flow is king, really,
yes, yes,
because those contractors could sell millions of dollars a year, but if they don't have the money they need when they need it in order to complete the work that they need, it's not a good place for them to be, right? And so and I get it. It's really tough, and I think from the outside, because people look at real estate investing and they watch HGTV and they see these things like, oh, it's super easy, you just remodel and you do these little things, but there's these horror stories or this level of effort, right? Like you talked about the fix and flips, and now you didn't want to ever do that again. There's a level of effort that goes into these things that may not be for everybody, right? If you're not really involved, I for example, I personally have thought about doing a fix and flip, but I was going to partner with someone who was going to be not a was gonna who was involved in construction and was gonna be overseeing was gonna be the project manager over the job, and someone else who was a designer who was going to be able to make it look nice, right? They were going to spend 6 hours agonizing about the right shade of white, which I don't have time or desire or the skill set to do. So working with folks like that, then I would have gone into fix and flip. But going and doing it kind of on my own, and finding people, and trusting the GC, because then it's not just the trust. Then you got to go there. You got to make sure that they're doing what they say
Yes.
that they're going
Yeah.
to do.
It's a lot of
It's
work.
tough, especially after you've been.
It's a lot
It's
of,
it's
and
it's
then
a lot of work.
the accounting and bookkeeping that goes with it, that's a lot of work too. It's a lot of work. Yeah, because
That's where I come in. That's what I do, right? That's what our firm does. We work
yeah,
with
but
folks
you
in real
also want
estate,
to make
and
sure it's done correctly, because a lot, I've had
yeah.
bookkeepers that don't do it correctly, because I do know about bookkeeping. Right now, I do my own bookkeeping. It's very time consuming, but I still do it myself. Yeah, yeah, because there are many bookkeepers I've met that don't do it correctly either. So, yeah, yeah,
They do, and I think it has to do with like a specialization thing. It's because they may know about business, but they don't know real estate. They don't understand real estate, and so working with someone who actually is specialized in that, I think, makes all the difference, right? If someone who knows and understands the intricacies of you know uh, um, what if this is going to be a depreciable asset? What if this is actually an expense?
yeah,
How should we do a cost segregation study?
yeah, yeah.
These different things. Should we take advantage of bonus depreciation, right?
Yes, yeah.
Because you mentioned those two properties, that the interest rate's going to go up. Well, there's a good chance you're going to make money on those. So should you be buying another property and taking advantage of bonus depreciation to lower your tax bill? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know the numbers, right? But those are all the kind of the scenarios that you need in terms of working with someone who
But
knows and understands.
but if you've already taken your bonus depreciation, how's that going to help then? You took it the first year, right, when you bought it. Yeah, yeah.
Well, no, if you no, it's do you now is your strategy now to acquire another property and do
Oh,
that bonus
yeah.
depreciation
Or
in order
another
to offset the
property.
gain? Yes, and so that's a potential way, because you know um, thinking about like 1031 exchanges, I hear people who, yes, I got to do a 1031 exchange, and they're doing it just for the tax savings, and a lot of times they may end up making a poor investment decision, whereas maybe doing this other strategy of, well, let me sell and buy something else on my own timeline, as long as it's within the same tax year, right? uh, and then doing the sale, doing the bonus depreciation, doing the cost segregation study, doing the bonus depreciation, and getting that in the same year, or offsetting that. And maybe not getting the full benefit that you would have gotten from a 1031, but you got to do it on your timeline, and you weren't rushed to make a deal happen and to select a property that may or may not have been the ideal property, or maybe at the end of the day say, you know what, I'm going to pay the tax bill. I think that those are viable things. Like you mentioned about pulling money from your 401k. Hey, I know I'm going to pay this tax bill, and it's okay because I'm going to use this money to invest, and this investment's going to grow. This is going to be my capital appreciation. This is going to get me to give financial independence, financial freedom, and I'm okay with that, and that's okay, right? At the end of the day, you're trying to delay as much as you can when you pay the tax, and pay low, less than possible, right? The buy, borrow, die strategies and all of that. But sometimes you do have to pay tax, and you have to be okay with that if that's part of your overall um, growth
Strategy.
strategy.
Strategy. Yeah. 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 Agreed. Yeah.
And now, talk to me about private lending. Are you concentrated just in Pennsylvania? Are you open to other areas? Where do you generally, and how do you source the deals? What kind of deals? What do you?
So most states allow private lenders. I mean, other lenders, I think that lend, the other traditional, what they need a license. Private money lenders don't usually need a license. So I lend in any state that allows me to lend. Yes, I don't have any restrictions on where I
Okay.
do it. Yeah. And for me, there are two things in private money lending: the borrower and the asset. Right? They're both very important. And there are many lenders who are asset-based lenders. They look at the asset only, and they may be okay with that if they're okay with taking back the house, or there's that much value that they're okay with foreclosing on it if the borrower doesn't perform. For me, I'm not in that business. The borrower comes first for me, so it's always the borrower then the asset. Yeah, they're both important, but one is more important to me, or more that I look into than the asset. So that's the way I do it. But I lend in any state that I'm allowed to lend in. Yes.
What do your typical borrowers look like in terms of not just the persons, but what are they investing in? What are and what kinds of loans are they doing?
Oh, most of them are either doing a fix and flip or a burr. You've heard of the burr strategy, buy,
Hmm.
rehab, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, all that. Yeah, those are the two mainly. Then I've had a couple of borrowers that did it for short-term rentals too, but that's a burr too indirectly. They buy it really cheap, get it ready for short-term vacation rentals, and then they go and refi. So it's burst, right? Yeah, that they do. So those are the two,
Sure.
yes, they work with.
So traditional and short term.
Yes,
Interesting.
fix and
Ah,
flip, and yeah, it's short term. My loans are 6 month notes, and it can be extended 3 months, 3 months for 1 year. Basically, they're very short. Yeah, yeah. So 1 year max. Yeah, that's
wow.
what I do.
So lots of yeah. So they got to make it happen. They got to have the right contractors in place, or doing the work themselves, or overseeing the work themselves
Overseeing
in order to.
it's hard, I think, for anyone to do it themselves and finish it in such a short time. That might be very hard if they're doing it themselves. Yeah, managing it, or making sure it's done. Yeah, would be, yeah, have the right team in place.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah, it's for people who have the right
I
team
get
in
it.
place.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
unless they've been involved in construction and they're good in doing things. Yeah, I have like my limits. Install light bulbs, maybe a light fixture. you know,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna. I know how to paint, but I don't know if I could
yeah,
do drywall. I don't. Can't
yeah,
install tile.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of things
and
that.
most of these houses are not in the best shape, right? So yeah, for them, so it needs a lot of work. Yeah, a lot of times, because that's how they get it at that low cost. That's where you can really do the value add, when you can get it that cheap, but it's usually not the best, yeah, condition, most of the houses, yeah, when they buy it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
So I like to ask folks this: what is one thing that you wish you knew that you would like to impart on someone kind of entering into this journey, or already along the path, right? That you wish you kind of knew at the beginning that you know now, and you kind of would want to share with others.
That I wish I knew. Oh, like if I knew about private money lending, I would have done it a long time ago. I did not know anything about it.
You
It
mean
was
as a
just one.
lender or as borrowing?
As a
As a
lender,
borrower or as a lender? As a
both.
lender, okay.
Well, as a lender, you have to get to a certain point in your finances to be able to do that yourself, right? I mean, you can always connect people. There are people who get from other people and lend out, so you're like a broker there. But yes, you have to have some amount of financing. Yes, I would have also borrowed if I knew earlier that I could do that when I was younger, of course. When if I was in my 20s, yes, I would have gone to a private money lender and done it, because there are people that have maybe had $50,000 when they started out with private money. Me working with them with private money, I think in 3 years they became millionaires. But that was also before COVID. Yeah, that you could really go up very fast then. So they were just buying, fixing, flipping, not flipping, basically they were keeping it, but their net worth grew so much, because of the value that they added over time. So it was very
Yeah.
quick. During that time,
It
I
was
was lending a lot to many different people. Yeah, because people could buy; those numbers were there. It's slowed down much more now after COVID. Yes, yeah. I mean during COVID time it worked, but
yeah, and
after
then
the
it's
2022 onwards, yes,
yeah.
COVID time it went up more, but it started somewhere in 2012, 2014. It just went up until Yeah, up to 21, I think 2021, yeah, and then yeah, it's no more the same. So I was lending in 17 when it was the middle of, all this happening. Things, everything was just shooting up. Anything you buy, you were just making money on it, yeah. So there are many people, yeah. If I had lived at that time and knew about this, yes. And then if I knew about private money lending as a lender, I would have done it, because there were many times I had money sitting in my bank account, not knowing what to do with it. I'm like, not getting any interest. I don't know what to do with this. you know, how am I going to make this
Yeah.
grow? And I didn't want to put it all into housing. You have to have some money, but still, this is quick money coming back, right? It starts on the day you lend it. A lot of other investments, even real estate, you're waiting. With lending, you're making money on your money from day one, from the day you put your money in. You're making money on your money, yes. So it's the fast turnaround, that you get with lending too, yes. I would say, I tell my kids, they're not into it yet, but I'm trying to encourage them to do that and learn about it. The other one is the Roth IRA. I love that. I love the Roth IRA. My husband and I, we put our max we could every year into a Roth, and then we combined it and we bought a house. We used that as down payment for a house. Both our money, we could quickly have enough money for a down payment. And then every year when we put our Roth, we put it into the house and paid it off. That's what we did every year. So that house is paid off. Now all the rent I'm getting in, it's tax free. And then I'm also lending from it now. So all the interest I get is tax free. So it's a wonderful thing to have. It's something I would tell anyone to start, tell my kids all the time, from the day you start working, put that money into a Roth IRA. It's a wonderful thing to have. So I took some of that, and then I do that with the taxes too, like on my lending. Of course, I do the part where, I have a solo 401k, so I can put I max it out to the max that we're allowed to, and the rest I put into the Roth. And then I lend out from that too. What do you call it, the mega Roth, backdoor Roth thing, I do that too. So Roth is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
that's interesting, because people, people don't necessarily always consider the taxes in the equation of things, right? I'm going to make this money, but how much tax is it going to cost me? And I think that's really smart, right? To kind of sit down and think, let me do this. Let me use a Roth. Let me use so that I pay the tax now, but I don't pay it in the future on the
Yes.
gains.
Yes.
But even if you did the opposite, right? And you didn't do a Roth, and you did the solo 401k without it being a Roth, and it would still grow tax-free, because all the gains would continue to accumulate. It's only when you begin
Yes.
withdrawing from there that then you
Yes.
begin to pay, and it becomes
Yes.
and then but then at that point you're measuring when you pull out and how much you pull out, and you'll know the tax bill. And it's
Yes.
kind of that long-term strategy. But either way, they either in both of them they grow tax-free. It's just when you pull them out, I think.
Yeah, the way I think
really,
about it, yes.
I say that because me.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say that, yeah, both are good. The Roth, you're paying taxes now. The other one, you're using the government's money to make more money. There you pay the government, you're done,
Yeah.
and you never have to pay them anymore. The other one, you're taking the money and making money. So yeah, I lend both sides. I have one house in a regular IRA, which I've not paid taxes on, and I have the other one in my Roth. So, and they're both paid off. So now I have the rents, which I lend out. The interest from the lending comes back into it, and I lend from both those two. So it's many ways, right? The rent and the interest coming in that helps grow both IRAs. So I have that. Yeah, I have two, and then I have the solo 401k too. So. Yeah, so I would advise people, those retirement accounts, they're really very, very powerful if you use them right and you do them right. And lending is one of the best ways to make income on your income. Your money works for you and you make money on that. Yeah, right now I have some money sitting in a bank account, and my head is just spinning, as to what I can do with it, because I don't have, I don't have that many borrowers right now, so it's like, I check all the banks. They're not worth putting into any of them. So just waiting to see what to do with it at this point. Yeah. Yeah. So
They keep dropping the interest rates. Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah, yeah. They keep
absolutely.
dropping, and also if even if you put it in either it's a CD, which I don't want to put it into because I lend it out, or if you put it in the money market, they keep dropping the rates. You get a nice rate first, and then they keep dropping it. So yeah, just sits there. So yes, that would be those retirement accounts is what I'd advise young people to start with, and also to buy houses in their Roth IRAs if they can. Build it up, and then just use that as a down payment to buy houses, both in the Roth and in the regular IRA. Put it every year, and then use that. I actually took money from one of my jobs, the Reno house, the one I told you, my first house ever. When I changed jobs, I took my retirement money and paid it off. I paid the taxes on it and paid the house off, so I just kept getting rent in after that. So there are many ways, so yeah, always try to pay off your houses if you can, or use your retirement fund, but keep those retirement accounts. I think even at your job or solo 401k or any of them, they always end up becoming very useful to you, or there are many ways to make money with them, when they're controlled.
I think also this is like the long-term strategy. All of this is it's a long-term strategy, right? It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's how do I take these steps to secure my financial freedom? Right? We talked about your 20-year journey,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And you
yes,
had differing levels of financial freedom along the way, but now you're in a great place and have kind of
yes.
set yourself up for success
Yeah, yes,
for later years of life. So
yeah,
that's
where
wonderful.
I don't need to be tied to a job anymore. Plus, I can be anywhere. For last 2025 6 months I was out of the country, but I was doing lending from doing all my lending. My rentals were running. I just contact my handyman. He takes care of my rentals. They were all running fine in 6 months. Yeah, I was out of the country. So yeah, so that's freedom, right? Yeah, well, you can do what you want. You're not tied down anymore. But it took 20 years. There's nothing like, if it was easy to become rich very fast, everybody would have done that, right? It's not easy. Yeah, it takes time.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
It's probably the difference between being
It
rich or
takes time, and I
wealthy,
think
right?
having patience.
Yes,
Having
yes,
patience, I think,
yes,
is the key, because I think
yes,
people want that immediate. We're used to immediacy, right?
yes,
Now,
yes,
and
yes,
technology's really gotten us
yeah.
too used to that.
Right, and some people don't
Was
want to do too much of that hard work, right? My son, for example, he had a little difficult tenant, and he didn't want to deal with the tenant. He sold the house. Oh, I don't want to deal with it. So this is the way I'm going to do it. So he was still in the house when he sold the house. So you do need grit, and also you need patience, and you need to work through difficulties and hard things that come along there. It's not always easy, right? Yeah, either. But in the end, you
absolutely,
get rewarded very well. In the end, yeah. There's a lot of reward
yeah,
for it. Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah, yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Well, Sheila, it has been a pleasure speaking
Yes.
with you. Pleasure learning
Yes.
about you, your business, your experience. I'm sure will be really valuable to folks to kind of learn from. And I really appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you, Michael.